In today's episode, we're going to go over 5 tips for beginner TIG welders to avoid. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode from Pacific Arc TIG Welding. My name's Dusty. I'm a welding artist from Vancouver Island, Canada. I do art projects in both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional art surfaces. And on my YouTube channel here, I love showing off and teaching the art of TIG welding. So if you're new to the channel and you've never seen anything I do here before, be sure to bounce back. Check out the previous episodes. There's a ton of episodes for you to watch. So about a month or so ago, I did an episode basically on things that beginners should probably get used to doing when they start TIG welding stainless steel. A lot of people really enjoyed that episode. I had a lot of fun making it, but I almost felt like I left a lot out of that episode simply because of all the things I recommend doing when you first start TIG welding. There's almost even more things I recommend not doing when you first start TIG welding. Now, a lot of these things that I'm going to recommend here today are not what you're expecting to hear. Today is going to be some more philosophical, fundamental things that somebody should consider when they first get going with TIG welding. Let's get to it. Number 1 thing I recommend that people avoid doing when they first get going is learning joints that are too difficult. I see a lot of people set up and they get ready to do some really awesome looking joints. But what happens is a lot of people have not drilled down on the basic fundamentals of lighting up a TIG torch, extinguishing a TIG torch properly, not to mention tinkering around with settings, gas flow, filler rod size, any of that stuff. If people jump into welding actual joints too quick, they're gonna have a hard time. There's no way around it. I had a hard time with it when I first started. I train people all the time, whether in person or in my online training program, and guess what? We start with the most basic stuff. At this point, when you have very few variables active in front of you, you have a flat piece of plate where you're basically just running flat beads on the plate so someone can understand how to properly establish a puddle, control it, move the puddle. When you start out TIG welding, you should definitely eliminate things that are gonna give you a headache and make it overwhelming for you at first. For anybody that does TIG weld already, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of variables you have to control. You have to control your heat, you have to control your angles, you have to control your speed, and that's just after you set the machine up. So there's a lot that comes even before you start introducing filler rod. I definitely recommend when people start out to start out basic, start out super simple on a flat piece of plate, work on just lighting up and extinguishing a TIG torch, then adding a little bit of filler rod into it. In my online training program, I think we do like the first 2 weeks where we don't even use filler rod. It's a great way to establish a good base understanding of how a TIG torch works, how the arc works, how to control the arc, and only then, once we go on from the basic understandings of fundamentals, then we start introducing a little more tricky things like using filler rod, and then after that, we start actually working on joints. So boom, it's like 3 weeks of my program or something like that, or when I'm working with someone in person at a school or on a job site, I can explain things in a more understanding way when it's just on a flat surface. So if you're just getting going with TIG welding, start simple. All right, the second thing that I recommend people do not do when they first get going with TIG welding is this: buying expensive gear thinking it's gonna make their welding better. Now hear me out on this one. I don't mean to sound harsh. I hear from a lot of people that are just getting going and they're asking what gas lenses to buy, what brand of tungstens, what different torches should they upgrade, which Miller Dynasty they should buy. It's because they wanna learn. I love those machines. I love that people want to get going with it and they get excited, they see all the cool gear, but listen to me, you don't need fancy stuff to learn how to TIG weld. Everything that I have in my shop here is basic inverter machines. I have an Everlast and a CanaWeld. They're both super entry-level machines and I've done everything on my channel with them. You don't need to throw down 10 grand on a water-cooled system just to learn how to TIG weld. Everything I learned on when I first started TIG welding back in like 2002 or so, give or take, it was an old school transformer type machine. It had a big clunky torch. It weighed 1,000,000 pounds. I hated the thing, but guess what? I used it day in and day out until I got the hang of everything. I started to understand my settings a little bit, and only then, once somebody starts to figure out the real fundamentals of what it takes to be a good TIG welder, that I really encourage you to start spending money on fancier gear at that point. Obviously, having fancy gear does make a difference. Having nice cups, like the cups I use here from Edge, I got some Furic cups, I got all kinds of nice stuff here. This stuff does help. However, it is not going to make or break you as a beginner TIG welder. It's not going to make joints easier to learn. It's going to be way more based on settings and technique, especially with stainless steel. So what I recommend when you first get going, just pick a setup, stick with it until you get comfortable. Keep it simple. Like I said, back to number 1, just keep it simple. Same thing goes for your setup. Learn more about how your machine works. If you're always changing cups, changing tungstens, trying to grind your tungsten at different angles because you want the best results, that's cool, but that's a lot of variables that you've just thrown into the mix when you're still trying to figure out the simple stuff. So I really encourage everybody, just figure out the simple stuff first, and only after you start to get a bit of a groove going, then you can start upgrading for some fun stuff. All right, tip number 3 that I tell beginner TIG welders is this: there are no shortcuts. I get hit up from people on Instagram, and again, I appreciate anybody that hits me up for any kind of question at all. But a lot of the questions I get are, what is the fastest way to get really, really good at TIG welding? There are no shortcuts with TIG welding. TIG welding takes time. It's something you really have to spend a lot of time with, understand the nuances of the techniques, even just the feel for it, how the different gear works. As I just said in the previous tip, keep it simple, and you're still gonna have to figure out a million little nuances with TIG welding. It just takes time. I guarantee though, if you keep it simple and work your way from the bottom up, you're gonna have a much faster time getting a grasp at TIG welding than if you start trying different techniques, different gear, all the stuff I talked about in the previous tip. TIG welding takes time. It's like a martial art or a sport or whatever it is you're trying to learn. It's a craft. It takes time. You can get pretty basic and good understanding really quick, and I'll talk about that in the next step. But for the most part, you basically just have to count on the fact it's gonna be a lot of hard work. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error, a lot of self-reflection, help from someone else. All those little things are gonna slowly compound over time. And after doing it for a little while, then you'll start to be able to hang with people who do really, really nice stuff. So again, I don't mean to take any wind out of anyone's sails, but there is no shortcuts with TIG welding. You gotta put the time in. Okay, tip number 4. This one is one that I wish somebody told me when I first started getting going. And that's, don't shy away from getting help, asking questions, or taking advice. I was pretty pig-headed when I first started. I had a huge ego. I wanted to learn it all myself, and I didn't want to hear it from anyone. I just wanted to work hard. I wanted to grind away and figure it out for myself. I did have a couple teachers who were trying to help me, but they weren't very great teachers. They didn't really connect with me very well. So maybe that's why I didn't want to listen to them, but whatever it is, I should have listened to them. It would have saved me a lot of dicking around with setup and different things. It could have been so easy just to ask someone, how much gas do I run through my regulator for different joints and cup sizes? Like, those are all things that somebody very quickly could have answered for me. When I'm working with people in person, I try and do this as much as possible. Just hit them with the simple stuff to get them going. And then once they get that basic stuff, they can start playing around with actual joints. And at that point, they can figure it out for themselves. If you're lucky enough to be at a school or a workplace that has some good TIG welders around, pick their brain, ask them all kinds of questions. It's a great way to get immediate feedback, like I said, to some pretty simple questions that you might spend a lot of time dicking around trying to figure out for yourself. Online, there's a million things that you can do nowadays to learn about TIG welding. You can hit up YouTube, you can watch my channel if you want. If you don't like my channel, that's all good. There's 70 other TIG welding channels, I'm sure. There's Max from 5th Street Fab. That dude's channel is awesome. There's weld.com. There's welding tips and tricks. There's the fabrication series with my friend Justin. There's so many channels on YouTube. There is online freaking textbooks you can download. I have an online training program. It's an easy way for somebody to learn about basic theory from TIG welding in many different ways. Like I said, whether it's in a physical classroom or job setting, or sitting in front of your computer late at night, sipping on energy drinks to learn how to freaking TIG weld better. Advice is a great thing when you're first getting going with TIG welding. Cut out the BS, cut out the extra time you'd spend messing around with something simple you could have just learned asking someone. Make it easy for yourself and go from there. All right, the final one, number 5. The heck was number 5 again? Oh yeah, this one's gonna kind of go counter to what I just told you about all the online help you can get, is researching and geeking out on TIG welding too much. Hear me out on this one. There is a point when you can only watch so many YouTube channels, learn all the tiny little theory things, tungstens and speeds and angles and all this stuff. So many variables that you can break down when it comes to theory. But there comes a time when you gotta move on from that stuff and you just gotta get behind the mask. You gotta pick up a torch and start practicing. So what I basically recommend is this: find a way that you connect how to learn, whether it's, like I said, a school, job site, online, whatever it is. Focus in on getting what you need, and then once you get what you need, move on to trying some of it. Don't spend a bunch of time going through every single YouTube channel, every single online textbook. That stuff's all great. Do that stuff if it interests you. Once you get what you need, get a pair of gloves on and go for it. Anybody that has been TIG welding for a while knows there is a point of diminishing returns where you basically retained enough information in your head. You just got to basically pick something, go with it, and get to work. Only then, when you start out with a basic joint, gear that you're comfortable with, you have a good teacher, you're patient, you're not going to look for shortcuts. And then this last one here, shoot, what was the last one again? Oh yeah, and then you get your basic research and everything that you need to get going and get to work practicing. I definitely find when people spend a little bit too much time researching, that unfortunately takes away from some of the fun. Some of the funnest stuff I've had to do is try again, figure out why something is not working, and then finally you figure out some little technique thing, boom, oh my gosh, there it is, I got it. It looks great now all of a sudden. That's such a cool feeling. So I definitely recommend, while there is a lot to say about getting a proper start, proper fundamentals with proper gear, there is a lot of joy in finding your way through the basic parts of TIG welding. So if you got any value from what you saw here today, here's how you can repay me. At the end of every episode, I always ask for people, if they enjoy what they saw here today, to go out and do a random act of kindness for a stranger. Whether it's helping someone who fell down a set of stairs back up on their feet, or something as simple as writing something nice on a stranger's Instagram page, I don't care. The world needs more positivity right now. Do your part, chip in, spread some positivity in the world today. We need it. Again, for Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name's Dusty. Have a good one. Peace.